Welcome back on the Giants broadcast network. Moments ago, we witnessed the end of Game 1, which was a 12-8 decision in favor of the DC Grays. This is Game 2 of the doubleheader, and slightly different faces. We'll start on the mound. Gray Willis, the starter for Gaithersburg. His last start was this past week in Bethesda, one that he would like to forget, where he gave up 8 runs in the first inning, only able to get through that 1 inning of work. Then some more substitutions, but some more constants as well. Zach White behind the plate, as well as Aiden Marino at shortstop and Brady Powell in left field are the same. Then the difference, Ryan Maxey at third. Freddie Diaz will move from third to second. And then Danny Orr enters the game at first. Then in center field, it's Brady Ruiz Weiss. And then in right field, moving from designated hitter, is Joey Nicholson.
So you hear there from the PA announcer, Gray Willis taking the mound.
And Ryan Song will be the first batter Gray Willis has to face, although we're going to have a small delay as they did not exchange lineup cards here, so Jack Besser and TJ Brockway will do that now before we get underway.
Quite the quick turnaround. The second leg of today's doubleheader, the lightning delay has forced everybody to continue to move and keep the progress going.
Yeah, the lightning delay essentially functioned as the break in between games. So we will get underway once again here. Ryan Song will be Gray Willis's first batter. And Song had himself quite the game 1 of this doubleheader. 4 walks and a single for Song. I believe he came around to score 4 times as well.
He's an on-base machine, and Gray Willis is going to want to avoid that to begin this game.
Well, first pitch to Song is missed up high. It's 1-0. Gray Willis can't find the zone on pitch 2, but much lower and much closer to the zone is Willis's second pitch of the start. 2-0 the count to Ryan Song. And there is strike 1 from Gray Willis. Again, a quick turnaround from game 1 to game 2. 2-1. Misses upstairs. 3-1 to Song.
He's getting encouraging words from dugout and GM Matt Kangas. Giants certainly behind their guy for the second leg.
Song fouls this one off back into the backstop.
Glad that was wide of our camera. You saw the shakes there on the stream.
Yeah, hopefully our camera's not too far off kilter now. Very hard to adjust it mid-game here. Song cranks this one into left center field. That one is going to make its way high off the fence. Song trying to stretch this to a triple, but he will stop at second. Looked like he was going to try and put on the Jets, but Ruiz Weiss handles that one nicely off the wall.
And that was placed perfectly by Song. If he's not going to put it out of the park, that's the best spot he could put it. Deep into the exact gap almost between Powell and Ruiz Weiss in the outfield, both of them running equidistance to get there, neither able to find it in the air for an out, forcing Song to stop at second base.
And that'll bring up Noel Rivera. Rivera had a couple errors defensively in game 1 that cost DC some runs. Still did not become the difference in that game. Squaring to bunt, tipping this back off the glove of Zach White, and foul. Rivera went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, a hit by pitch and a walk. 0-1. Misses upstairs 1-1 to Noel Rivera. And it was a full count on Song when he pulverized a baseball into left center at 95. One-hopped the fence, and actually, had it been a part of the 8-foot fence around here and not the 12-foot fence, it would have likely been a ground rule double. 2-1, tipped back and into the fence. The second foul ball on this at-bat for Noel Rivera. Count even at 2-2. Pitch from Willis. This one hit hard, but then chopped to Marino, who has to rush the throw, and it's in time. Great stretch by Orr. Great throw by Marino, who had to rush that one. And Song does take third on that one, but it is out number 1.
Marino with the very Marino with the very difficult throw. Or great extension for the catch. Holds it, doesn't let him get it past him, keeps his foot on the bag, gets the first out. Gray Willis looking to add a second one.
And that'll bring up Mark Corey. Second pitch to Corey. Gets away from White, but Song didn't have a great read. It also went down the third base line a little bit, so Song erring on the side of caution.
I could see the look on his face from here. He was very disappointed with where that pass ball landed.
So it is a 1-1 count. Willis needing to meet with his catcher, Zach White. So count even at 1-1, 1 out. Lights have come on here at Criswell Automotive Field in Gaithersburg, Maryland. A hot and humid Gaithersburg, Maryland. 1-1 to Corey. Misses outside, 2-1. Song trying to be the game's first run for the second time today. 2-1. Misses just high, and now it's 3-1.
Mentioned Song out on third base. He has double any player on DC's stolen bases. Sure, he'd like to add a memorable home steal if possible.
3-1, called strike 2. Corey was ready to toss the bat aside, but it's now full count to Corey. Payoff pitch from Willis. Put on the ground, backhanded by Maxey, and it leaps over. And the run scores, no out made. It's 1-0 DC as Corey stands on first.
That was the right pitch from Willis. You mentioned the put away pitch. 85, middle of the zone. Corey doesn't get a perfect bat behind it, but he gets past Maxey out on third. So he sends Song home for the first tally mark in the second leg of today's pair of games.
That'll bring up Andy Rivera. Pickoff move for Corey on first. No tag applied. Andy Rivera, 1 for 3 in game 1 with a RBI and then a double. Had a sacrifice fly. This one into the glove of Maxey, double play ball. Here's the throw from Diaz in time. Maxey with a redemption play. DC able to plate one, but it's not the big inning we saw in game 1. Just a 1-0 score as we head to the bottom of the first. Some improvement.
The Giants have found it. In the past 2 matchups against the Grays, they've let up multiple runs, especially with 2 outs. But here, Maxey makes up for the mishandled. It was a tough one on the last play where a run did end up scoring. This time, Fields it quickly, whips his arm around. The Giants turn the double play, ended the inning, only letting up one. This is a spot that they're excited to be in.
Yeah, it certainly is. That one snapped the glove of Maxi Close as it came 95 off the bat. So while Ethan Naggie warms up on the mound for the Grays, we will step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. And it's the DH from Game 1 from the Grays, or at least the starting DH. He only had one at-bat. Ethan Naggie starting on the mound for DC. He grounded into a fielder's choice and now looks to shut down the Giants offense that's hungry to get a win.
The Giants offense got hot after the rain delay. Unfortunately, not enough time to mount the full comeback. Game was only 7 innings, as today's a doubleheader.
First pitch to Powell is popped up into the netting for strike one.
Brady Powell loves swinging at that opening pitch, has an aggressive mindset, both hitting, running the bases, makes great plays in the outfield.
0-1 from Naggie, misses low, and now the count even at 1-1.
We talked to Powell a little bit during the lightning delay, joined us up in the treehouse. He was telling us last night he went to his cousin's birthday party dressed in a full Giants uniform.
1-1, misses upstairs, 2-1 the count now.
Got out of South County so late, didn't have time to go home and change, but wanted to celebrate with his cousin and went out repping Gaithersburg.
2-1 to Powell. Called strike two at 75, so a lot less speed from Naggie on the mound than was previously just seen from Dean Kira. 2-2. Swing and a miss from Powell up high. And that is the first time Powell is retired today. Earlier in game one, Powell went 3 for 3, walked twice, and a double as well. So for the first time, Powell has a seat in the dugout while his team is batting, being one of the outs in an inning. First pitch to Reese Weiss finds the zone. 0-1 to Weiss. Pops this one up. Left center field. Under it to make the grab is Eli Owens for out number 2. So Naggie working quickly here.
Naggie so far very effective. He's an incoming freshman at Lock Haven University. David, I love to play Guess the Mascot with you. Can you guess Lock Haven's mascot, a Division II school?
I'm going to say no, I cannot guess at all. First pitch to Orr is a swing and a miss from the UMBC Retriever. I do know that one.
You know that mascot. Lock Haven, very patriotic. They're the Bald Eagles.
Oh, wow. Swing and a miss from Orr there, 0-2. So the future Bald Eagle trying to soar through and get his second strikeout here. Misses outside on the 0-2 pitch. 1-2 the count now to Danny Orr. 1-2. Swing and a miss. And so going from designated hitter to start game 1 to starter on the mound in game 2, Ethan Naggie gets 2 strikeouts in the first inning, and DC will grab the bats again, up 1-0 on the Gaithersburg Giants. So we'll step away as Gray Willis tries to step down this Grays offense. All right. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Collin Smith, Gray Willis back on the mound as the Giants are trying to avoid a doubleheader sweep. And they were able to get the split on Friday in the doubleheader against the Southern Maryland Senators. So, Collin, down 1-0 after one. What has to go right here for the Giants?
We talked about not lighting up the big inning. They avoided it, unlike the last 2 times against DC. Now the test is, don't let that big inning be the second.
So Gray Willis will face Tanner Walpert to start off the second inning. First pitch to Walpert inside for ball 1. Again, Walpert came in for the injured Carter Jenkins after 1 inning in the first game. 1-0 to Walpert. Called strike 2. Walpert went 1 for 3 with a double in game 1 for the rising junior at Franklin and Marshall. 1-1 count. Now 1-2. So Walpert doesn't do full gloveless like Danny Orr. He has a singular glove on the bottom hand.
Certainly an interesting setup, especially on a humid day.
1-2 misses upstairs. 2-2. Yeah, so I mean, I had the mistake a couple weeks ago buying the wrong hand glove for golf. The packaging got me. It said left, and I interpreted that as for the left hand, not lefty swing. So
They do get you. They should really specify it's for a left-handed person, meaning it goes on the right. Just like how baseball, that trips people up as well.
I definitely should have tried it on, but I was able to return it and get the right glove now. So I look to return to the Lynx, but my priorities lie here in Gaithersburg.
Glad to hear that. I snuck a quick 18 in this morning with my dad and brother out in Bowie. It was a fun time.
2-2. Strike 3 called. Gray Willis's first punch out of this outing is out number 1 here in the top of the second.
And Tanner Walpert got a little excited there. A little full of himself, in my opinion. Thinks it's ball 4. It goes to toss his bat, but the ump tells him no. Pick it right back up and head back to your dugout, buddy.
First pitch to Eli Owens is outside for ball 1.
That would have sent Walpert to first base.
Owens, the rising junior at William and Johnson College. Excuse me, William and Jefferson. My bad. I had it W and J, so apologies for that.
You had a 50-50 chance.
Ran out of space in my scorebook to write out Jefferson. But 2-1, the count now to Eli Owens. Pitch from Willis, swing and a miss from Owens. Willis eyeing his second punch out here. Two. Swing and a miss. What an at-bat from the pitcher, Gray Willis. Back-to-back swings and misses from Owens, and it's back-to-back punch-outs.
It looks like Gray Willis is settling in and finding his stuff as we get here. That was 75 in just the bottom left, his off-speed. We've seen him get to the mid to high 80s in this outing so far, so showing his Rolodex.
First pitch to TJ Adonisio. Adonisio did play in game 1, went 1 for 1. An RBI double, a hit by pitch, and 2 walks.
I think now that we're 2 games in, you got his name down. You struggled with it his first time up at bed, but have since settled in on the broadcast.
Adonisio, it's a couple eyes there.
They can trip you up. All these vowels.
Exactly. I did take 2 semesters of Italian, so I should have a name like that down, but unfortunately for me, can't quite get it. But Willis can get strike 1 there on Adonisio. 2-1.
I thought about making Italian my language credit at Syracuse. Both of us orange men here in the booth. Ended up with American Sign Language this upcoming semester.
Oh. 2-2. Well, maybe you can come back and sign the national anthem here.
That would be an interesting one. We'd have to set up an extra camera and catch that with the broadcast.
2-2, 2 outs for Willis. Full count now. Willis trying to strike out the side. Got Tanner Walpert looking, then got back-to-back swings and misses on Eli Owens. Now a full count to TJ Adonisio.
He's hoping to see the ump throw some sign language here.
And it is striking out the side is Gray Willis. 3 up, 3 down, all on strikes. We head to the bottom of the second. Gray Willis with a phenomenal second frame.
You ready?
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Gray Willis was striking out the side in the top of the second. 3 punch-outs for him as Ethan Naggie got 2 in the bottom of the first, the starter for the Grays. Now looks to continue his current hitless appearance here for DC. First batter he will face is Bryce Rudisil.
Mentioned it's hitless so far. I think he has a hitless against the Giants as he was in the infield for the first one. He's doing double duty and double damage in this game, in this day, back to back.
Yeah, it's tough for someone like that. Now it's a swing and miss from Rudisil. He's quickly down 0-2. Naggie trying to match Willis in terms of strikeouts in a couple less batters faced. Rudisil fights it off to stay alive. Count remains 0-2. Rudisil did not appear in Game 1, slots in as the designated hitter here in Game 2. (0-2) from Naggie. Chopped foul.
Rudisil showing the fight, goes down an early 0-2, gets pieces of ones that may have been called ball had he not gone for it, but does anyway.
So he is able to stay alive. After two swings and misses, it's 2 straight fouls. And the count remains 0-2 on Bryce Rudisil. He pops this one up into center field. Under it, Mark Corey, and he makes the grab for out number 1. So not a punch out for Ethan Naggie, but he has still faced the minimum through 4 batters. And that brings up Zach White. As we mentioned, White, the only catcher for Gaithersburg this weekend, so caught all 8 innings last night in South County, and then the first 7 today, and we'll have to catch the next 5 here in Gaithersburg.
Zach White, the Iron Man, ULM Warhawk, getting excited this weekend. Seen a lot of action behind the plate. A lot of crazy action, too, considering he had 2 outfielders pitching to him last night.
Yeah, he's also had to deal with a lot of walks surrendered while behind the plate. 2-0 finds the zone, 2-1 now to Zach White. Two-one pitch. Popped up, tailing out of play, and it does make its way to the soccer field. Count even at 2-2. Umpire asks for more baseballs here.
David, you know that it's the end of a long week, a busy, hot day when the soccer field here at Kelly Park is near empty. There's about 5 or 6 people out there. Usually there's like 20 to 40, so you know that this day is beginning to wind down.
Yeah, and the lightning delay featured no precipitation. 2-2, misses upstairs, full count to Zach White. So it was literally just a lightning delay. Had there not been lightning within a certain radius, we would have just kept playing. Full count. Swing and a miss. Ethan Naggie gets his 3rd punch out on Zach White, and now Ryan Maxey will try and do some damage with 2 outs.
Maxey originally fumbled that 1 ball hit towards him earlier in this game and then responded the great catch that turned into a double play.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting how it was a backhand play that leapt up onto his forearm and then kind of ramped up, and that's what led to that error. However, the next one was 25 miles an hour faster off the bat and snapped his glove closed and allowed him for a nice feed over to the second baseman and get the double play ball in time. 1-1, fouled back into, or off the catcher's mask, excuse me. That is McMullen this game, Jack McMullen replacing Isaac Aokovi. 1-2 to Maxey. Popped up, ranging back. Noel Rivera called off now by Eli Owens, and that will end the bottom of the 2nd inning. And I was going to mention the shortstop, Mark Corey, was shifted over more towards left center field. So I'm not sure if they knew that Maxey was looking to not necessarily pull that baseball, but put it in the opposite field. But either way, it's out number 3 in the end of the second inning. So we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right, ready?
Yep. Back here on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network, now Collin Smith on play-by-play, joined by David Lewis, providing color commentary. We're through 2 here, the second leg of the doubleheader. Criswell Automotive Field, Gaithersburg, Maryland. We saw a little bit of a lightning delay in Game 1. Weather's remained clear here so far. Still Willis on the mound. Catches McMullen, the catcher. The swing and a miss, strike 1 here to begin the third inning. Another swing and a miss from McMullen.
Willis has just been locating pretty much everything exactly where he wants.
Willis sets looking to put McMullen away. Catches him again. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight swings, and 3 straight misses. McMullen is retired with nothing to show for. Willis begins this third inning hot.
Yeah, you mentioned 3 straight swings and misses, but it's 4 straight strikeouts now for Gray Willis.
Gray Willis certainly settling in here. The start of the second leg. Sends this one high. You got to give him a little break. He can't throw every single strike.
No, he can't. I have yet to see an immaculate inning here in the Cal Ripken League. Sure, it's been done, but not in front of my eyes.
Now, there's the strike called. It's Dixon Monk at the plate. DHing for this game. He's a incoming freshman for the Georgetown Hoyas. And he draws the 2-1 in his first plate appearance of the day. We did not see him in Game 1. So, new face for the Grays. There's Dixon swinging and missing. Willis again finding the zone.
And I'm really curious if Monk at the plate there would prefer if the Georgetown Hoyas went back to their home ballpark, which used to be actually Shirley Povich Field, home of the Big Train. I'm curious if he would want to go back to those times. It was a couple years ago, but
this one's off Dixon's bat. I had a friend, Christian Ficca, played at Georgetown, won Big East Player of the Year. He's a former DC Gray himself. I'll have to ask him what he thought of both playing Shirley Povich for the Hoyas and in the Cal Ripken League.
It has been a while. I'm not exactly sure what season Georgetown finished up operations there.
And there's ball 4 on Monk, so he'll take first base. Willis got him to a full count, so still with his stuff.
So after tallying up the scorebook from Game 1, it was 13 walks and then 17 total free passes when you include hit by pitches and a couple errors. So Willis, to his credit, has done a fantastic job here in the early going, but that one walk Again, not going to look favorably, but does have 4 punch-outs to his name.
Back to the top of the order now. It's Song, an attempted pickoff on Monk, and they call him out. Gray Willis wasn't happy that he let him get there free, so he sends him packing to the Grays' dugout.
That is a fantastic pickoff move from Gray Willis, and I'm wondering if he's just been working on that because we haven't seen that really in his first couple starts. But right there, a fantastic pickoff move gets Monk completely fooled.
Willis finds the zone now. 2 outs here in the top of the third. And as many face, he did let Monk get on base, as we just saw. Puts him away with the pickoff. 2-1 is the count for Willis, facing the top of the order man, Ryan Song. He loves getting on base. He's over 50% on that. Check swing there. They're going to say it doesn't matter because it was in the zone anyway.
Ryan Song, a tough out to get. Had him at a full count his first time up before Song unleashed a big double into the gap. One-hopped the left center field fence.
And there's a swing and a miss. The on-base man doesn't get it this time around. 3 batters faced for Gray Willis. 3 batters sent packing, all in a bit of a different way. Willis only got through 1 his last time start against the Big Train. He's through 3 here, David.
Yeah, just sensational stuff. I believe he had no strikeouts in that start at Big Train and already has 5 through 3. So something has clicked in Willis, and I'm sure happy to see it.
Gray Willis is packing the heat. Hopefully the Giants bats join him there when we come back.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, that's right. Back here, it's the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network, Game 2 of today's doubleheader between the Gaithersburg Giants and the DC Grays. Collin Smith joined alongside David Lewis. Joey Nicholson headed to the box for Gaithersburg. It's Ethan Naggie, played a little bit of DH'd in the first game, now heads to the mound. And behind the bat of Nicholson, that breaks into the gap. Riviera and Song too wide of that one, and Nicholson heads to the first corner.
Yeah, so a bit of a defensive change for the Grays from Game 1. Noel Rivera, who was at third base, moves over to shortstop, and then Ryan Song, who was at shortstop, moves to second base, and then TJ Adonisio, who's in left field, goes to third base.
Shifting all around, trying to make the lineups work in doubleheaders, especially a hot one today, David. I know you and I have both pretty much sweat through our shirts, shorts, and everything about it. I can only imagine what the players are going through. Attempted pickoff on Nicholson. Freddie Diaz is the Giant in the batter's box.
Diaz looking to build off a productive last at-bat for himself in Game 1, getting what you said, I believe, his 3rd hit of the season.
3rd hit of the season. He made contact with that ball there. It was a bit of a check swing, fouled it off to his own territory, so Hayden Marino picked it up, gave it back to McMullen, the catcher. So Naggie has Diaz in the 0-2. Nicholson out on first. Diaz got his bat behind this one. It's going to curve foul just before it was able to get to the field. It was the other Rivera, Andy Rivera, out there that would have had to make the play had it landed in the fair territory. So Diaz returns to the box, remains in the 0-2 against Naggie on the mound. Diaz gets his bat behind this one. Running for it is Quore, but it's Rivera that takes it instead. They were about to cross pass. Rivera's glove is the vacuum. Nicholson retreats to first base. 1 out in the bottom of the third.
Hard hit to the opposite field. Just didn't really get the extension on it that Freddie Diaz wanted to. So not a punch out for Naggie and not a productive out for Diaz, unfortunately for him.
So Marino will follow up. He's the end of the order for Gaithersburg. He's working with Joey Nicholson out on first base after he put one right up the middle past Song on second base in his first at-bat. And that's a crack at the bat from Marino. Nicholson's going to wait to see if Rivera handles it. He does. Halfway in between the two, he elects to go back to first. Otherwise, he would have been called out, and that would have been the third out, David. That just wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah, so Nicholson probably frustrated he hasn't been able to leave first base. Had a pickoff attempt thrown at him by Naggie earlier in the at-bat of Freddie Diaz, but now 2 flyouts to right field and unable to move is Joey Nicholson.
Naggie, a righty, trying to pick off the first base. I think he was just a little jealous of Gray Willis able to get that sweet pickoff there in the last inning. It's a first pitch strike on Brady Powell. Usually a guy that swings on those first pitches. That one, according to the TrackMan, just really on the edge of the zone. And Powell gets his bat behind this one. It's going right to Owens. And it dropped before reaching his glove. Catches it off one hop. And so Brady Powell gets to first base. And Nicholson, you mentioned, probably a little upset he didn't get there earlier, finally reaches 2.
Finally reaches 2, and even though it's just 2 singles in this inning, not even any steals, no extra bases, it's still going to be McMullen meeting with Naggie to go over some things. Naggie had tallied up 3 strikeouts and had faced the minimum through 2, but now 2 hits given up and 2 outs gotten here in the bottom of the third.
We've seen the Giants in many situations with 2 outs. They've gotten the bats going in the situation before. It will be Ruiz Weiss that hopes to be the one here. He watches strike 1. The Yale Bulldog steps out of the box and resettles himself, finds his stance now as he sets to face Naggie down the 0-1. Naggie looks down Nicholson. Now delivers. That's the first ball of this at-bat. Brady Ruiz Weiss once again exiting the batter's box, settling in his stance.
And Adonisio is playing a deep third base. We've seen Brady square to bunt numerous times in his at-bats pretty much all season.
It's usually the first pitch for Ruiz Weiss that he squares to bunt. We haven't seen it here yet.
I don't believe he scored to bunt his first at-bat either when he flew out to left field. And now the first 3 pitches hasn't squared.
This is a new Brady Ruiz we're seeing. It's 2-1. Naggie checks back and forth between Nicholson and Ruiz Weiss. Now delivers to the batter. Sends this one high. 3-1 is the count. Here, encouraging words from both dugouts, both trying to cheer on their guys as they're in a pivotal situation runner in scoring position, 2 outs for the Giants.
Jack McMullen saying to Naggie, one at a time. Naggie steps off to get his first disengagement here and reset his pitch clock. But McMullen really just wants him to lock in here, avoid loading the bases.
Naggie checks Nicholson. Back and forth, back and forth. Pitch is there. They're going to say Ruiz Weiss check swing did go, and it was outside the zone. So as you mentioned, the Grays didn't want to load the bases, but that's exactly what they did.
And I also mentioned the walk disparity in Game 1, and now it's eye for an eye, one apiece. You got to keep that in check. So if they get a walk, then obviously Willis got the caught stealing on the walk he gave up. So now make him pay here with the walk Naggie gave up.
Danny Orr steps to the plate. Did not see him in the first game. Leads the team in at-bats. Watches strike 1. Orr gets his bat behind this one. It's back towards Owens. He's going to have to move to get under it. And he does. The Grays escape, bases loaded with the 2 outs. Danny Orr got a good chunk of it, David, but not enough to save the 3 base runners for the Giants.
Yeah, unfortunately for Orr, pitch was outside, still in the zone, but outside. So having to try and pull that baseball was really tough. And early on it, got a little under it, and strands the bases loaded.
When we come back, it's the 4th inning. Gray Willis remains on the mound. He's been hot for Gaithersburg. Does the heat continue, or can the Grays extinguish the flame?
Ready?
Yep. Back here on the Gaithersburg Giants broadcast network, it's Gray Willis on the mound. He's been shoving for Gaithersburg. It's 1-0. The Grays are up, but it's a different story from the previous 2 matchups between these 2 squads.
Yeah, more more of a pitcher's duel here as Willis with 5 strikeouts steps back on for his 4th inning of work.
This is a wide pitch. It's, Rivera. One of 2 Riveras in the lineup for the Grays that's in the batter's box. Once again, wide. Gray Willis delivering an early 2-0 count. Looking down Rivera, trying to find the zone now. He sets in his stance. Puts this one over the plate. Rivera sends it high. Calling for it is Marino, and it goes right to his glove. And that will be the first out here.
It's early in this inning, but that may be a massive pitch. I mean, you're down 2-0. The first 2 misses weren't really close, but you still get them to pop up, and it's a simple pop-up. No real issue for your infield.
Getting Rivera out in 3 pitches when you were in the 2-0 is huge for Willis as it goes for the rest of this inning. Mark Quarry up to bat. Center fielder, Junior Wofford. Check swing on there. His hands were moving. He should have followed through because it was in the zone.
Quarry drove in Song, the only run of this game thus far, off an error that went off the forearm of Maxey.
Corey got a good piece of that. It goes past Gray Willis, And up the gap, fielded by Brady Ruiz-Weiss, so Quarry stands on first.
Really solid contact from Corey. 73 hung over the middle of the plate, so didn't demolish it in that sense, but sent it right back where it came from. Job done for Corey.
Now the other Rivera comes to bat. It's Andy Rivera, the right fielder, Holy Family product. Was squaring to bunt, pulled back in time. We saw him square to bunt in the last game, and he got hit by the pitch. As there, he narrowly avoids contact once again with the ball. We saw him square to bunt in the first game. He got hit by the pitch, and his team wasn't upset. He wasn't allowed to take first base, but when you square to bunt, that's a swing.
Yeah, he didn't pull back before it hit him, so the Giants...
Attempted pickoff on Quarry, or was ready for it, but not in enough time. We already saw Willis retire one man on first base through that action.
Yeah, I think now that the Grays have seen his pickoff move, they're a little more careful.
That's ball 3 now in the count. Rivera likely to leave the bat on his shoulder. We'll see if Willis finds the zone. He squares to bat. So, didn't leave the bat on his shoulder, squared to bunt first, pulled back in time for the ball, unlike a game ago. So now runners on first and second.
I think he was going to pull that back no matter what. I think when they squared a bunt, batters love to use that as just a mental tactic. It's, the pitcher is antsy. They're like, oh, the ball's going to come my way. I need to make the play. So they mess up their pitch a little bit, and it's ball 4 either way. So I think Andy Rivera was ready to pull that back no matter what.
Certainly those change-up moves, trying to throw off somebody in these one-on-one sports. You think of like a hockey shootout when they're faking the puck coming down the ice. I always think of a lacrosse move as a lacrosse guy myself, goalie, somebody throwing a couple fakes. So the fake bunt, that makes the pitcher hesitate for a second, almost baiting him into throwing the pitch that got Rivera the 4-ball walk.
Yeah, so manager TJ Brockway just had a mound visit, and we've seen that a lot more in recent days. He's not just going out to make pitching changes. He's also going out there to talk to his pitcher himself.
After the meeting, Willis delivers ball 1. Now in the box, it's Tanner Wolpert, who thought he had a walk his first time around. Turns out it was a full count, strike 3, much to his dismay.
And now Zach White will have a word, and I mentioned it when it first happened, but the first and only out of this inning thus far, the pop-out of Noel Rivera. I mentioned how Willis was down 2-0 and then comes back. So, as I said then, and we'll say again now, that was a massive spot to not let him get away. If he had let him get away and walked, it would have been bases loaded, no outs right now. So at least you have the 1, and a ground ball again gets you out of this inning.
And Zach White takes the meeting with Gray Willis. He wanted to make sure the home plate ump was there for that meeting. He called them up to make sure he went up the pitching track here at Criswell Automotive Field. This pitch fouled. They're going to say it hit the batter's box dirt before going into the field of play. Wolpert looks a little shaken up after that one.
Yeah, I don't think it hit directly off of him. May have hit the ground first and then ricocheted off of Wolpert. But either way, he doesn't appear to be too shaken up.
Gray Willis was ready there to make a play. He immediately got into the infield.
Yeah, again, I mean, that's what Andy Rivera tried to do previously with the bunt on 3-0 is the pitcher wants to make a play as much as anyone else, if not more.
They award the Gold Glove to a pitcher as well. It certainly takes defense on the mound. There's a step off from Willis. And they're saying that's a second step off from Willis.
You only get 3 engagements in an at-bat.
And they're calling... Wait, now they advance the base runners. There's a bit of confusion. Some Some people in the Giants side are saying that's one engagement.
Yeah, we have one umpire, the first base umpire saying one, and the second base umpire doesn't really know. The home plate umpire is saying two. Giants want one.
I believe
DC wants two.
The discrepancy is where the timeout happened with Zach White. I don't believe Gray Willis ever engaged with the batter before Zach White decided to go meet with his ace. I think that's where the confusion is, but I don't remember Wolpert stepping in to the batter's box, and I'm right here in that my recall of that is the base runners will head back to first and second base.
So 2-1 count, and yeah, they will return to their base. So interesting technicality rules coming into play here.
And that has to have been where the discrepancy was that timeout with Zach White, I imagine. So Gray Willis makes sure not to step off this time with Wolpert. Delivers now. It's inside for ball 3. So Quore took third for a second, retreated back, and he has Andy Rivera on first. This one is ball 4 outside, and Quore and Rivera will head back to where they once were, followed by Wolpert loading the bases on 1. Now Eli Owens, Washington and Jefferson left fielder, steps into the box, 1 out, bases loaded. Check swing there. Looked like it might have hit Owens for a second. I think that hit the butt of his bat.
Yeah, either hit the knob of his bat on the bottom or hit just the neck, but it did not hit his hands, so foul ball. No one advances.
Willis happy that hit wood instead of skin. Now it's a 1-1 count after that ball.
Nice snag there by Zach White. He was set up on the inside, but that pitch goes all the way to the outside, having to turn his glove over and able to get that in the webbing.
Now this one finds the zone. Good motion on that pitch from Willis, tagging 75. He's got the 1-2, 1 out, bases loaded. That one is just wide. Good snag by Zach White to handle it. 2-2. It's Willis facing Owens. And this one finds the zone for a punch out. It started on the outside, got Owens to watch it into the glove of Zach White, but because he watched it, he's headed home.
Gray Willis's 6th strikeout of this start, and now it's just force at any base to end the inning.
And Gray Willis got retired 1 batter with bases loaded. He's going to have to do it once again. It's TJ Adenozio in the box. He had to duck to avoid ball 1. Adenzio. You struggled with your first pronunciation.
Yeah.
So did I. Adenzio. Now
Adenizio. Sorry, there's another I. I keep messing it up still.
Adenizio. You and I both struggling with the Italian name. I don't think my mom's happy about that one. I qualify for Italian dual citizenship. I don't hold the passport, though. 2-0 the count for Adenizio. Watches ball 3 near his face. Gray Willis is going to have to put this next one in the zone if he doesn't want to walk or run in. So Zach White, the man behind the dish for Gaithersburg, the entire weekend, tosses it back up to Willis. He finds the zone, so this at-bat will continue. Adenizio steps back, looks his bat up and down, wondering if he'll decide to put this one into play. Willis can't find the zone. It's just high, so Mark Corey will be walked in. Adenizio takes first. Manager TJ Brockway heads out. And it looks like that's the end of the night for Gray Willis. Made it through 3 2/3. We'll step away as Gaithersburg figures out their pitching situation with a call to the bullpen. Throw the bullhorn, Zach. There we go. Oh. Back here on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network, manager TJ Brockway made a call to the Giants bullpen, and it's Evan Sarantani. Last time we saw him was also in the second leg of a doubleheader, again in relief. He went 2 innings scoreless to shut the door against the Senators last time around. What do you think he's going to do here in this appearance, David?
I mean, obviously he's not looking to allow a ball put into play, but when you do that, you got to make sure you're filling up the strike zone. So that's number 1 on the agenda, as there have been 3 walks in this inning for the Grays.
Sarantani gets his first pitch as a strike. The first batter he's facing is Jack McMullen, catcher out of Liberty for the Grays. And McMullen hesitated for a second, swung through that one. I don't think he was happy that he gave a full release to the bat.
Not happy, but at 73, he can't really time it up after having to see the 86 of Gray Willis in his first at-bat where he struck out.
Sarantani's got the early 0-2 in his first appearance. And he finds the zone for strike 3. He retires the side, gets away from bases loaded. 1 run did score that inning. It's 2-0 Grays up on the Giants. We'll head to the middle of the 4th on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network.
Ready?
It's the Gaithersburg Giants broadcast network. We're in the second leg of a doubleheader here in Gaithersburg. Currently, the Grays up 2-0. They won the first game, looking to repeat that. Bryce Rudisill steps into the batter's box. He's designated hitting tonight. Ump had to take a second to make sure the music stopped playing before the ball was put into play. It remains Ethan Naggie for the Grays. He delivers a sinker first pitch strike. That one started out high, almost above the head of Rudisill, drops right into the zone and the glove of McMullen. This pitch too wide, ball one.
So yeah, we're 75% of the way through baseball today as we're halfway through game 2. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. That last game with the lightning delay, almost 3 hours. You and I were just talking about the Savannah Bananas. They put a 2-hour time limit on their games. They play not even innings. It's just 2 hours and then you're done. I wonder, that would certainly get you and I home earlier. It's 1-2 for Rudisill. Puts this one up into play. It's Song who gets right behind it, delivers it to Wolpert, and that's the first out of the 4th inning. David, what do you think if one game a season in the Cal Ripken League was played banana ball style?
Oh, I think that would be... I think you'd have so many players that would want to play in that. You might as well just make a second all-star game and just have, players sign up and get in as much as possible, because these guys want to have as much fun as they can playing summer ball, and that is a very easy way to get them into that.
That could be fun. The Giants dugout is a little light right now. I think that all of the guys that are on college visits or stepped away for other reasons right now would find a way to haul themselves back to Gaithersburg if that was the case. There's strike 2, swing and a miss from White. Sorry, that's the first strike of this at-bat. And White got a piece of this one, sent it right back into the fence. And that gives a little vibration to our camera. Now, the banana ball would certainly be interesting. You and I would have the chance to make some outs as fans grabbing foul balls do count.
Would you try and go on the roof in front of us?
I think I'd jump out of the treehouse here and attempt to grab some foul balls.
We haven't had one hit the roof here during a game, at least.
Today, I had one, I think I was with Jake, though. I had one pound on top of us, give us a good knock. So we get a timeout here from the Grays. McMullen heads out to meet with Naggie.
There was one today at the end of I.O. in warm-ups where T.J. Brockway was trying to send a pop-up for Zach White to field as the catcher, but when he tries to send it straight up, it usually tails out of play, and this time it went up, back over the net, and then hit right on the roof here.
So 1-2 for Zach White. Watches that ball high. Good eye for no chase.
Zach White having the pizza sub, I believe it was from Potbelly, but Brady Powell called that a crime. Wow.
Check swing there. It's a drop strike 3. Zach White's going to have to run to first base. McMullen sets, delivers a good throw to Wolpert for the out. Yes, that was quite an interesting food selection from Zach White. He joined us here in the press booth, treehouse, dungeon, whatever you'd like to call, wherever David and I sit behind the backstop here at Criswell Automotive Field. Him and Brady Powell during that lightning delay. We do have a nice couch up here. I think that's why Zach White chooses us as his favorite spot to hang out. Now Ryan Maxey is in the batter's box. Narrowly avoided the hit by pitch there. Somebody down at the scorer's table thought that it made contact. At least hope that it hit contact.
Yeah, it went off the glove of McMullen. I assume if it hit Maxey, he would be taking some more aggressive strides towards first base, but he elects to go back in the batter's box.
He watches ball 2. Looks like GM Matt Kangas is asking everybody around the situation to make sure that didn't nail Naggie. Swing and a miss there from the third baseman. He settles himself, re-enters the box, ready to face Naggie. And that is a ball hit off of the glove of McMullen. Nobody's reached base yet with 2 outs. So nobody advances. McMullen can take his time. Swing and a miss there from Maxey for strike 2. That puts the count to full. 2 outs. Giants yet to score. And Maxey watches ball 4. Is dugout happy about that one in what was maybe a hit by pitch, according to some of the fans here, ends up to a natural walk. Joey Nicholson heads to the plate now.
Singled last inning, but then was stranded on third as the Giants stranded the bases loaded.
Attempted pickoff here on Maxey. Wolpert was standing there. Maxey had to dive back to make it in time before Naggie delivered. And Nicholson awaits his first pitch. He watches strike 1. Him reaching third base makes him the closest Gaithersburg Giant to home plate in tonight's game, this afternoon's game. Giants had some runs scored. Another attempted pickoff. So that's 2 disengagements, David.
Well,
we saw.
As long as he throws it over in a manner that the umpires say is timely for a tag to be applied, it does not count as those pesky disengagements. So he's fine for now.
We're learning all the rules of disengagement tonight. We saw questions in the infield earlier. Nicholson, good eye for ball 1. 1-1 is the count for the right fielder. Wrapping up his summer season soon as the calendar turns over. The Gaithersburg Giants will lose Joey Nicholson. He steps out of the batter's box on that one, turns his head because the ump gave him the strike call.
Just hit the inside black there of the strike zone. Tough for Nicholson to pick up. Thought that was going to keep staying inside. Broke just enough back over the plate.
Now it's 1-2. Nicholson got his bat behind it. This one, it's covered nicely by Rivera. They try to send it across, or say Nicholson outran it. And just like that, Nicholson has a hit with 2 outs. So Maxey was able to get to second quick enough for no play to be made there. Nicholson outrunning the throw from Rivera.
Left the bat at 97, and if it had been a mile an hour slower or just a little easier for Noel Rivera to handle, it would have been the end of the inning, but Nicholson just gets to first in time to beat that throw.
We've seen Nicholson's power put balls out of the park. This one is just too hard to handle. I imagine handling a Joey Nicholson ground ball is one of the tougher things to do in these games. There's strike 1 for Freddie Diaz.
Diaz flew out to right his first time up as a runner in scoring position here.
Diaz watches strike 2 there. It's not his bat that's his biggest contribution. He struggled this season, only got his 3rd hit in the last game of this doubleheader, but great defensively so. Diaz remains in the lineup over to second base today. And as I say that, he puts one into play, and that will load the bases. Nicholson will hold up on third. The ball got to McMullen. It hit off him for a second, but not enough for Nicholson to round home.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, so Gaithersburg learning from last game, putting on the hold sign Andy Rivera's throwdown makes it through Walpert, the first baseman, the cutoff man, and it skipped off the shins of McMullen. So Maxey likely would have been in there safe, but obviously trying to err on the side of caution here.
That's a swing and a miss from Aiden Marino. He finds himself with the bases loaded. 2 outs, but the Giants have been dealing with 2 outs for a while, and they've continued to advance base runners. One more until they have one get to the scoreboard. Check swing there. They asked the first base ump if it went, but the home plate ump rules that he went regardless. Gaithersburg Giants upset that they don't go to the first base ump's opinion. So a little bit of dismay. Giants don't think that he went. Home plate ump calls it regardless. So Marino's going to find himself in the 0-2. Swings and misses on that one. That ends the side. Punch out for Naggie. Still scoreless through 4 here in Gaithersburg. Stay tuned on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. We're back here at Criswell Automotive Field. Evan Sarantani came out of the bullpen last time around for the Giants. Stays out there in this relief effort. The Grays are up 2-0. They won Game 1 in today's doubleheader matchup.
And now back-to-back innings that Gaithersburg has stranded the bases loaded. So the opportunities have been there, just with 2 outs and unable to get anyone to cross home plate.
Dixon Monk watches strike 1. Oh, 1. Sarantani out of Denison on the mound. Delivers now. That's on the inside. Avoids clipping Monk. Monk had to jump out of the way there. Trying to avoid the 83-mile-an-hour pitch from Sarantani. Pitch there now. It finds the zone and the glove of Zach White. 1-2. Dixon Monk, one of the few Grays we didn't see in the first matchup. Gets his bat behind this one, sends it right to his own dugout. Grays return that ball to the Gaithersburg Giants dugout with a little infield action. Now Sarantani nods for the pitch. Delivers again off the bat of Monk to a similar spot as before. Got on it a little bit because it bounced before heading to his dugout.
Last 275, kind of emergency swings from Monk as they've been low in the zone. Late reads.
And there's the swing and the miss to drop third strike. Quick tag. from Zach White on Dixon Monk. So back-to-backs that the DH is leaving with a punch-out. I guess not technically a punch-out with the drop third strike, but you get the deal. And Ryan Song. He's been a name we've talked about all afternoon for the Grays, David.
Yeah, currently the game-winning run as his leadoff double back in the top of the first inning where he came around to score is the first part of the difference here. A narrow 2-run lead. Actually struck out his last time up.
First time all day that we didn't see Song reach base. Started both games of this doubleheader. Originally at short, slid over to second base. Sarantani, that one was over the plate, just not high enough for the umpire's zone. Now Song sits in his batting position. Now the ump thinks Sarantani has found the zone. That was 84 to the right side of the plate. And that was a chop swing from Song. It hit the tip of his bat, so it goes foul. Would have been called ball. Song not happy. That one goes against him in the count. They ask if the first base ump, unlike last time around, Song gets a piece of this one. Sarantani has loaded the count full for Song. This at-bat has been a battle. Couple foul tips. Song checks on this one. He gets the punch out from the ump. Doesn't need to ask if he went. So Song on back-to-back times doesn't reach base. Rare for the second baseman.
Rare and just an added boost. Sarantani now, since coming into this game, 3 straight strikeouts.
So now Noel Rivera heads up to the bat. He watches ball 1. Sarantani needs one more out to retire this side. This one's off the bat. Rivera up into the netting. No chance to get a fly out. Mark Quarry will go retrieve that no bat. Boy for the DC Grays. Just whoever's in the on-deck circle forced to go retrieve the bats and balls. Sarantani now delivers. This one good for the ump. It's a 1-2. Rivera stares down his bat. Looks to have confidence in it as he gets set. This one's into the dirt. Rivera had his hands moving, holds back. Good eye and handled well by Zach White. Now Sarantani sets. Winds his motion. Throws this one. It's low into the dirt. It hit off Zach White before making contact with Rivera. Doesn't allow him to take the base, though. So now it's a full count. David, what would it mean for Gaithersburg to get out of this inning with not letting Rivera get to base and potential further damage from there?
It just means that, even though you've made mistakes at bat the past 2 innings, the game is still well within reach. Your pitchers are keeping you in this game.
Sarantani sent this one 2 outside the zone. So Rivera heads to first with 2 outs. Mark Quarry. I mentioned his name when he had to grab a foul ball a moment ago. He gets set in the box. He's working with 2 outs. Just watched Rivera get walked to first base. Wonder what his mindset is for this at-bat. Had his hands moving, doesn't go, gets ball 1.
Corey singled his last time up and then came around to score to be the second run of this game off a walk.
Rivera took off. It's fouled off the bat of Quarry. He shakes his head, a little disappointed with that one, especially since it looked like Rivera would have been safe in scoring position. No opportunity for sacrifice if Rivera does get into scoring position. There's already 2 outs in the top of the 5th. 1-1. Rivera takes off again. It's a swing and a miss from Quarry. Zach White threw it. It was off one bounce, handled well by Freddie Diaz. It doesn't go anywhere past him. So
Diaz had to handle a short hop there. Those short hops on the throwdowns can be all the more nasty. So Diaz doing a good job putting his body behind that ball. So not just using the glove, but making sure that even though he can't get the out, he still keeps Rivera at second base.
Well, Zach White had to pop up after a Quarry swing. Imagine that's a little bit scary to do, be popping up and catching as a bat is coming through the zone. There's a swing and a miss from Quarry. This inning's over. Stolen bases don't matter. Sarantani still scoreless in his relief effort. We're going to take a break. We got the bottom of the 5th and the Gaithersburg Bats when we return. We're back here, Game 2 on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. Grays currently in the lead 2-0 as Ethan Naggie remains on the bump for DC. Their team name's DC. They play in Virginia. Last year they played in Maryland. The year before they played in DC. So really the DMV Grays, David.
Yeah, 3 different areas played for them that they've called home the last 3 seasons. And the last 2 innings, the Giants have occupied all 3 bases but unable to plate a run. Got to change that here with Naggie still on the mound.
Brady Powell into the box now. Gets ball 1 from Naggie. Brady Powell watches strike 2. Steps out of the zone. That one was tight towards him, almost about knee high. Hugging the edge of the zone. And this one, sorry, there was a ball in the count. That's strike 2 now. Apologies on me. Thought that first pitch was called strike. There's a ball 2 from Brady Powell. Gets the left fielder, gets himself into a 2-2. He watches for ball 3. Brady Powell, one of the guys that has played in both games today, also played in both games for the doubleheader on Friday. That game he went from left field to second base for the latter game. He sends this one high into the sky, tapping the nets here. Actually, it's going to go over. Bounce safely out of harm of anyone.
And we are getting some precipitation now here in Gaithersburg. A little light rain starting to come down. Umbrellas out here in the crowd, but very, very light.
And Brady Powell will watch strike 3. Brady leaves on strike 3. Brady number 2, Ruiz Weiss. The latter steps up to bat. Remains Naggie, still scoreless through 4 1/3. Ruiz Weiss doesn't swing at the first pitch, gets the 1-0 count. Ruiz Weiss fouled this one hard right behind him into the netting. Just got under that one. He had a good swing on it, David.
It was 91 elevated, so tough to get on that one. Really, all he had to do was get under it, but it was a good pitch to hit.
This one's into the dirt. Brady Powell went back to the dugout with nothing to show, so the speedster that usually likes to steal bases doesn't get this opportunity.
If Ruiz Weiss can find his way on, that's another speedster that can do some damage on the base paths.
I was just about to say, Ruiz Weiss, the guy who normally squares the bunt, haven't seen it yet tonight. I didn't say it, so no broadcaster's jinx. He did square for that one. 2-2's the count. Likely not to square this time. A foul bunt 3 would be an out. Swings through it. Thought it was a dropped third strike at first. Handled by McMullen. There's the punch. Danny Orr. Last time he was up to bat, David, he flew out, stranding the bases loaded. He now comes into the box with 2 outs. He leads the team in at-bats and has been a staple for this Giants lineup. He watches strike 1.
That's now 7 punch-outs for Ethan Naggie on the mound. Just a fantastic start for him. But after back-to-back innings loading the bases, the Giants seemingly sputtering out here before Naggie sputters out himself.
Swing and a miss there from Orr. He's in the 0-2. Got a piece of that one. He had to chase it far outside the zone. Leaned across the plate and sent it into the nets.
Nagy's still touching 92 this far into his start.
Naggie sets. Delivers this one. Orr's going to try to get it into play, but under it is the center fielder, Quore, to finish the side. So Ethan Naggie, couple strikeouts, no runs let up, been very effective on the mound for the Grays. David, do you think him coming out of the first game a little bit early when he was the DH was in the mind of his manager, Jack Besser, hoping to save him for this pitching performance?
Yeah, I think it was. Maybe he wasn't anticipating such a lengthy start, but to his credit, every time that Gaithersburg seemingly gets close, he finds a way out of the jam, and still a shutout thus far for Ethan Naggie, trying to get his team to a doubleheader sweep.
He allowed no base runners there. Gaithersburg is stranded, loaded twice. We're going to take a break as Sarantani stays on the mound for Gaithersburg. The Grays up to bat next. We're back here in Gaithersburg. Collin Smith joined alongside David Lewis. It's 2-1 for the Grays in the second game of today's doubleheader. David, what have you liked from the Giants' pitching so far?
It's just been so effective. They had that one inning where they gave up 3 walks and a single. Outside of that, it's been almost lights out. That first inning, they get the leadoff double, but I mean, not another ball that really did any damage, just further movement from the base runner, Ryan Song?
So, according to our PA announcer, we've been saying Song for Ryan Song the past 2 games. They're saying us that it's Song or Song? It's Song. I think that's what they're shaking heads from the stats table of us up here in the broadcast. But it's been a long day in Gaithersburg. 2-0's the count.
Gonna have to double check with Ryan himself post game, so that in future games can get that all squared away.
Andy Rivera sends this one high, fly ball. It's going to reach the stands rather than the infield play. No chance for an out. 2-1 is the count. Yeah, we talk about him so much because he's the on-base man. He's so effective at it. I hope that we can find the correct way to pronounce his name for as good of a player that he is. Headed to Wash U in the fall. Andy Rivera watches ball 3. Andy Rivera, the Rivera of right field. Nolan Rivera, the shortstop for the Grays. 3-1 is the count for Sarantani. Finds the plate, but not the zone. That will send Rivera to first base. And he'll be followed up. Tanner Wolpert, first baseman, junior out of Franklin and Marshall. We saw him come in as a pinch runner in the first game and has stayed at first base ever since. Wolpert gets his bat behind this one. It's going to be Powell who's trying to run under it, and he catches it. It would have landed fair. So no tag up from Andy Rivera as he was hoping it was going to be dropped. He got himself about halfway between first and second. There's the first out of the top of the 6th. Sarantani, last time out, was going scoreless through 2 in a doubleheader to shut the door on the Senators. Scoreless here so far. He delivers a first pitch ball to Eli Owens. Rivera takes off. White's going to have a chance to throw him out. He sent it high. It was handled well by Maxey, who had to... Marino. Maxey's out on third. Marino came over, handled a high throw from Zach White. Doesn't get the tag out on Rivera, so the Grays have a man in scoring position. Eliminates a double play opportunity for Eli Owens. Eli Owens gets his bat behind this one. Powell's running under it. He catches it with his glove and will force Andy Rivera to go back to second. So Rivera remains in scoring position with 2 outs as the Italian, TJ Adenosio? Do I have that right,
Yeah.
David? Okay. You became the expert after how many times you said his name through the first game and a third of this game on play-by-play. Sarantani checks on Rivera before delivering to Adenosio. There's a ball.
Really nice bounce back by Sarantani after the walk to Rivera. 2 flyouts, no tag ups for Rivera. Still on second.
Got to that second base via stealing. 2-0 count for the third baseman, Adenosio. Sarantani takes his hat off, resettles himself. He finds the 0-2. He just needs one more out to end this side, top of the sixth here in Gaithersburg. This one's to the outside of the plate. Third ball of the battle. Adenosio resets in the box. Sarantani needs to find the zone. He does. Finds the inside edge. Hugs it. It counts the same as always. It's 3-1. Rivera's the base runner on second. Sarantani delivers this one. It finds the zone. Adenosio was going to toss his bat and take first. He has to return to the batter's box. Not happy with that call as the count's loaded full by Sarantani. That one just barely clipping the TrackMan top of the zone here. Adenosio puts his bat behind it. That one looked like he might have clipped Zach White for a second as he readjusts his mask. Adenosio pointed to apologize if any incidental contact was made. No catcher's interference call either. Now Sarantani fought himself back into a full count after a 3-0. Needs a strike to end the side. Rivera's out on second. This pitch is too high. Adenosio heads to first. Two outs. Manager TJ Brockway hoping his pitcher Evan Sarantani can retire this side. The bullpen is light, as we've talked about, so light that it was the cause of the loss last night. Hope that that isn't in effect here. Gaithersburg ran out of pitchers in the loss to South County. That one's high and near the face of Jack McMullen. His fellow catcher Zach White handles it nicely behind the plate. So it's 1-0. This one off the bat of McMullen straight to the backstop. Backstop here at Criswell Automotive, one of the tallest, if not the tallest, in the Cal Ripken Summer Collegiate League. One. McMullen watches ball 2. There is a spot to put him. Third base is open, so no run would score with a walk, but Evan Sarantani hopes to not view the base pass full in this inning. It's the situation he came into, still scoreless when he's on the mound. Check, swing there. They go to the first base ump. They say he went. And after a little bit of controversy earlier, not turning to the first base ump to determine a go or not. Now the ump's electing. 2-2, 2 outs. Number 2, Jack McMullen in the box. Two puts his bat behind it. That one, it's going to die to the ground. He broke his bat on that one, McMullen did.
Yeah, not completely shattered, but I mean, as definitive as it gets in terms of broken bat sound. So a new twig needing to be retrieved for McMullen.
Okay, David, this is kind of crazy. We have reached the ultimate 2-2-2-2-2. We've got a runner on second. We have number 2 in the box. He's working with a 2-2 count, 2 outs. It's the second game of the day, and now he's using his second bat. Does it get crazier than that? If only this was in the second inning. This is the second pitcher that Gaithersburg has used. The count's now full.
Well, I guess all the 2s are gone now, so.
And Sarantani adding a 3 to the board.
Trying to make it 3 strikes, though, here and end this inning.
Pitcher always prefers the 3. Runners took off because it was full count. And number 2, Jack McMullen heads to first base. Another crazy thing in the 2, Jack McMullen's the catcher, so on the depth chart he's listed as the 2. Now a mound visit from manager TJ Brockway for Gaithersburg. Looks like he'll stay with Evan Sarantani for the time being. Hasn't taken the ball from him quite yet. David, this is a tough situation for the Giants. They're in this game. It's only 2 runs. Grays haven't gone on that run that we've seen in the previous ones, but the Giants also haven't gotten their bats going, as well as leaving base runners stranded.
Yeah, twice they've stranded the bases loaded. They have out-hit the Grays 4-2, but it's just, again, that walk disparity that I mentioned in the early going of this game being the major difference in Game 1 and being kind of the major difference all season. Just the ability that other teams have been able to work at bats into walks has really made the Giants pitching staff pay.
And now it's Dixon Monk coming to the batter's box. There's strike 2. First one was watching. That one's off a foul ball. Evan Sarantani doesn't want to walk in a run. It would give the Grays a 3-0 lead. He has Monk, the designated hitter, down 0-2. Sarantani looks for his put-away pitch. Gets Monk swinging, and that ends the side. Gaithersburg escapes with bases loaded. Payback for something that they've done twice already in this game. The Grays leave 3 stranded. No runs score. Still 2-0 here on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network.
Want to come back?
Yeah. We're back here at the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. And Ethan Naggie got through 5 scoreless. He'll take a rest for the tonight. Busy one for both. He played in both games, DH1, pitched this one. He's replaced by Jamie Whittier, incoming freshman at Wofford on the mound. Bryce Rudisil heads to the box.
Whittier making his 5th appearance, 7 innings pitched, 10 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned, and just 1 walk to 3 strikeouts. Has given up 3 doubles, however, of those 10 hits surrendered.
And that one is wide, 79 miles an hour. Trackman doesn't pick up the location. Well handled by McMullen. again wide side of the plate. Whittier has a drop step sidearm delivery, kind of funky. Whatever works though for him. This one was brought across to the zone. Rudisil put his bat behind it.
Whittier also the same height as me, 5'9", so working a little bit of a disadvantage there. Doesn't have the reach that they talk about with taller pitchers and that ability to extend that reach, giving them a little more velocity.
This one's fouled hard off of Rudisil over towards the bullpen of the Grays where Whittier just came from. So his sidearm slider facing a lefty. The strikes that he's been throwing have been coming across back into the zone as this one is hit right back at him from Rudisil. Diving attempt made by Rivera, but it's handled by Coyer in the center field. So Rudisil heads to first base. Zach White, the catcher, the only catcher for Gaithersburg all weekend, heads to the plate.
I think just what you were talking about, Rudisil adjusting to the delivery after the fifth pitch and had that one leaving the bat at 96. Great pitch to hit, 81 on the outside up.
Now a strike. Seems like Whittier can find that zone a little bit better against the righties because when he's facing the lefties, he's bringing that ball to them. Whereas with White, this ball is going to go away from him as it heads toward the zone. White gets his bat behind it. That one, it slips through the narrow entrance of the Gaithersburg dugout. We get a bit of pinball action. Looks like everyone's okay.
Yeah, hit off the shin of Freddie Diaz, I believe that is, sitting on a bucket over there. Diaz has had a long day himself, has played in both games. The third baseman in game one, second baseman in game two.
As Zach White's at the plate, he swings and misses here for a punch out. Talking about Zach White and Freddie Diaz, yesterday Zach told me that Freddie Diaz is the emergency backup catcher, so I hope his shin's okay if he were ever to be called upon.
Hope Zach White is okay too, so that Freddie Diaz doesn't need to put on the catching gear necessarily.
Agree. I think Diaz also took a little bit of bullpen yesterday when they were determining which position player would head to the mound. And another lefty. This time it's Ryan Amaxi steps to the plate to face Whittier. So just like Rudisil did, Maxey will have to adjust to the pitching from Whittier. Different from what we've seen all night.
Not sure if there is a lefty on the bench for Gaithersburg to use. Maybe Michael Cantiliano if he is still here. He played in game one. He's the only one that comes to mind for me out of the group.
And there's a strike. Probably don't want to take Joey Nicholson out of right field with the next batter. Manager TJ Brockway going to wait for any potential situational hitting. Whittier gets it brought back to the zone. 72. Tag in the corner. And Ryan Maxey is in the 1-2. 1 out. Rudisil out on first. This one's delivered outside. Handled well by McMullen. Jamie Whittier will get set. Facing Ryan Maxey. It's a takeoff from Rudisil. He slides in. No throw made by McMullen. So now scoring position. It was strike 3 on Ryan Maxey. But Bryce Rudisil advances a base nonetheless. Joey Nicholson heads to the plate. A right-hander, notable for this pitching matchup with Jamie Whittier. We've seen him strike out both a lefty and a righty now. As there'll be a quick mound meeting between Whittier and his catcher McMullen. Just a quick meeting. McMullen jogs back to his position behind the dish. Whittier's got 2 outs. Nicholson hoping not to be the third. Giants have struggled leaving base runners stranded tonight. It would be Bryce Rudisil if this inning were to end here. There's strike 1. Encouraging words coming from the Gaithersburg dugout. Nicholson is the tying run in the batter's box right now. This one's to the outside, just too far across for Whittier. 1-1. Through the bottom of the 6th. Reminder, we only play 7 because it's a doubleheader, so Giants really have the pressure on them. 4 outs to go in this game. And behind the bat of Nicholson, it's going to dribble up the third base line. And just like that, the dribbler gets him there. Bryce Rudisil got himself to third. Not enough time for Adonzio to throw that. Still can't say it right, David. What is it? Give it to me. Adonzio. Wow, I'm butchering it up here. It's been a long day in Gaithersburg. Adonzio couldn't send it across, so the corners are filled. For 0-1, Freddie Diaz. He got a hit this last time around. And he won't have a chance to bat before a quick meeting as Jack Besser, manager of the DC Grays, heads out to the mound to meet Whittier. So, Gaithersburg finds themselves in an opportune position. They are working with 2 outs, David. What can they do here to start to put tallies on the scoreboard?
I mean, well placed in the corner, and this is a tie game if Nicholson can hustle around the bases, but you really just want to make sure you score Rudisil. Cannot leave him on third. You got to head to the 7th and at least a 1-run deficit, if not a tie game.
And Freddie Diaz, he got a hit his last time around. Manager TJ Brockway not pinch hitting him, despite him being more of a defensive specialist this season.
I mean, he did not have that many at-bats in the spring, so still getting accustomed.
First base ump says Diaz did go, so he's going to be down 0-1. He's got Rudisil on third, Nicholson on first. Maxey got out in between those two. Diaz gets his bat behind this one. It's going to be an out at second base. Fielded by Rivera. Tossed to Sung. And that inning will be over. We're going to head to the final square here. It's a doubleheader, so only 7 innings to play. The Grays are still up 2-0. David, what are you looking for here in the final inning?
You just need to shut down the Grays. If you keep it 2 runs, it's very light. I mean, if you let the Grays score, it's going to keep getting more and more out of reach. You're going to have the top of the order. We're going to have the 9-0 hitter, Aiden Marino, due up in the bottom of the 7th, and then the top of the order after that. So you got to make sure that these next 3 outs are quick and easy, and there's no more damage done. I mean, you've left the bases loaded twice now. You leave another guy on third moments ago in Bryce Rudisil. So just making sure that the next opportunity you get is counted.
And Sarantani's going to stay out there with the Giants. We're going to stay with you as we head to this final inning. Gaithersburg has been a team that fights back. We've seen rallies. We saw last night a 9-0 rally to go up 9-7 before running out of pitchers and the game being blown open by the South County Braves. Gaithersburg has a pitcher on the mound still, Evan Sarantani. He went scoreless last time in the second leg of a doubleheader in relief. He's been that so far. 3 outs would be huge here as he can give his team some offensive support. Ryan Soom heads to the batter's box. We got from the PA announcer that we've been saying his name song all night. It's Soom. He's a big on-base guy. He failed to reach that first bag in his last 2 at-bats. So a guy that's been very effective and dangerous looks to make up for those lost 2. He watches ball 1. Sarantani sets in the 0-1, still yet to find the zone in the 7th inning. 2-0 for Ryan Sung.
I believe Gaithersburg still has one pitcher left in the pen. Not sure who exactly it is.
This one off the bat of Sung into the backstop here. 2-1.
So, I mean, they have a game tomorrow at home again against the Aces. We'll have that game at 7 p.m. here on the Gaithersburg Broadcast Network. But, I mean, you want to make sure that you keep as many arms as possible, so needing Sarantani to finish this out.
Still a couple of days away from that July 1st deadline that TJ Brockway talked about, when his bullpen will receive relief. Looking for the turn of the calendar. Sarantani gets himself into a 3-1 against Sung. Put this one over the plate. It's right to third base, fielded well by Maxey. He tosses it over, but it's over Orr's head. White is there for backup. So no further advancement from Sung. That's unfortunate for Gaithersburg. Maxey just with a little too much heat, too much oomph on it, goes over the head of Orr.
Yeah, Maxey did the hard part there, handling that one. 91 was pulled off the bat of Sung. And Maxey, again, yeah, he did the hard part, handled the short hop, and then just airmailed the throw. Danny Orr did a full vertical and still cleared him.
Sarantani puts this one into the zone. It's Noel Rivera. Tonight's shortstop for the Grays. Played third base in game 1. Takeoff from Sung. Rivera fouls this one as it dies in the grass at the Gaithersburg dugout. So now Sung returns to first. The Giants know that he's looking to get that steal in. Sarantani's going to take some time in the middle infield to gather himself.
Well, Noel Rivera is asking for a new bat from his dugout. Not sure if he thinks that one's broken or just wanted a different bat in general.
We heard a contact sound. It sounded a little bit off. Maybe I'm just saying that because now he's had to replace it, but elected for the mint green bat now. See if that's effective. Sends this one high into the sky. Zach White's there, ready to grab it. It goes over the fence and hits the bleachers. Splits the 2 fans on the home side. So Zach White popped up, was hoping to get that coveted first out, but will now send Noel Rivera back into the batter's box. 0-2. Sung on first. DC's dugout, alive, making some noise, laughing as they have the 2-0 lead in the final inning. White handles that one outside for the first ball of the battle. Sarantani looking for the first punch out of this inning. Sung looked to take off. This is off the bat of Rivera. It's into the middle infield. Marino claims he has it. It is true. It lands in his glove. Sung stays on first base. Mark Quarry heads to bat. So, David, the Giants get that one out. They need 2 more, and they need offensive support in the bottom of the 7th if they want to split this series. Song takes off. White's going to have to pop up. Has a chance to throw him out. He dives in. It's a little bit high for Freddie Diaz. Song in there safely to scoring position. We saw him take off a couple pitches ago. Had to return on the Noel Rivera foul ball that was a broken bat, I suppose. He had to switch after it, so we'll say it was broken. Sarantani sends this one over the plate. Almost went through Zach White's legs, but he handles it. So this is the 14th inning caught today by Zach White out of ULM. Plays college baseball in Monroe, Louisiana, his hometown. Song almost took off again. Now Sarantani stepped back, so he's going to have him in a pickle. Diaz is running for the third out here. Do they get it there in time? They say he's out. There was hesitation to give it to Maxey, but they do in time. That is the second out here in the top of the 7th. So Song got himself into the middle of the bases. Evan Sarantani stepped off at just the right time. So now Evan Sarantani is going to need one more out in this ball game. That one is put into play by Quarry. It got through Marino at short. So they replaced the base runner that was Song at first, got out in the pickle. And the Grays, still with 2 outs, put a guy out on first. Sarantani sets. He needs that coveted third out. This one off the bat of Andy Rivera into the backstop. Ball retrieved by Tanner Wolpert.
And going back to Sung getting caught stealing there, Sarantani almost made a pivotal error, went to join the second base side of the pickle, and that left Ryan Maxey the only body at third base to go back and forth.
And it's a takeoff from Quarry. Are they there in time with the tag? No, Quarry slides in safe. So the Grays trying very hard to get a base runner into scoring position. No sacrifice opportunity with 2 outs on the board, but Quarry risking it for the biscuit nonetheless. Interesting strategy there from DC with 2 outs. They could have left Rivera with nothing to show for with his at-bat. He's down 0-2. This one put just outside. So now 1-2 for Andy Rivera. The Rivera of right field for DC. Sarantani sets on the mound, not before checking Quarry. Last time a base runner was out there, a pickle happened. This one's off the bat of Rivera, fouled directly to the pole of the backstop. Got a little ding there.
Luckily not back into our camera, which has been up for about 5 hours now, almost 5.5 hours.
Certainly on the last dot or dot and a half of the battery life. Hoping this games, plural, to today. And here soon, we're in the final inning of Game 2. This one's off the bat of Rivera over into the net. Still 1-2.
Camera has 10% remaining, so hoping for a quick Giants walk-off here in the bottom of the 7th.
I always hope for a quick Giants walk-off. That's always the most ideal thing, David. There's a base runner on 2. It's Quarry for the Grays. Sarantani puts this one over the plate. Rivera pulls it across, sends it to his own bullpen. Quarry was leaving, so he's going to have to round himself back to second base. Sarantani gathers himself. He needs one more strike. This one's into the dirt. Zach White lost it for a second. He picks it up on the pitching track, but not before Corey reaches third. It's now a dangerous spot for the district. They've got a guy on third working with 2 outs. No sacrifice opportunity for Rivera, but an RBI opportunity as he's got the 2-2 with 2 outs. This one put into the dirt, handled by White. It loads the count full. Sarantani 1 pitch away from retiring this inning. He's going to need offensive support if Gaithersburg wants to get this win. We're only playing 7 today. This one off the bat of Rivera. Sent towards his dugout. Manager TJ Brockway will deliver the umpire a fresh set of balls. So Evan Sarantani, man out of Denison. Before that, Gonzaga College High School, WCAC champion, trying to get that one more strike and one more out for Gaithersburg. He sends it past Zach White. There's going to be a play at the plate. Never mind, Corey decides to return back. It was ball 4. So just like that, Andy Rivera heads to first. Looks like there was maybe a thought of a mound visit from manager TJ Brockway. But with the corners packed, he'll leave Sarantani out there to face Tanner Wolpert.
Wolpert 0 for 2 tonight. This is a guy that could definitely get the Giants out of this inning. Force at first and second.
A take off there, so no longer a runner on first, but 2 in scoring position.
So now only the force at first. Everywhere else would require a tag.
This pitch over the plate. Tagged the trackman zone, but not the umps. 1-1 for Wolpert. Sarantani needs one more out. This one off the bat of Wolpert. There's second strike of the count. Sarantani will grab the resin bag, regather himself, 1 strike away, 1 out away from ending this inning. Still scoreless in his relief effort. He put that one over the plate. It was a drop third strike and a quick tag from Zach White on Wolpert, and that gets out of the side. Evan Sarantani doesn't let a man cross home plate when he's on in a relief effort in a game 2 of a doubleheader. He's done it twice and only 2 opportunities. So we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. Stay tuned with Gaithersburg Bats up next, trying to get a walk-off. Okay.
What paycheck?
David, Collin Smith, alongside David Lewis in the broadcast booth. David, comes down to this. It's Aiden Marino at the plate. Still facing Jamie Whittier, the side arm pitcher. It's the bottom of the 7th. Doubleheader today, so this is the final inning. Pretend it's the 9th for your viewer's sake at home. Gaithersburg needs 2 to tie, 3 to lead and take the walk-off. Ball 1 from Whittier to Marino. Marino, the short stop. Catches that one, foul.
Low in the zone at 79 was going to be a called strike anyway, but Marino not getting his full bat head on it. Kind of having to drop his shoulder in order to make contact with that one.
As we talked about the Whittier pitch, it's coming across his body and finding the zone. Difficult for the righties. The only hit we've seen it off it was a lefty in Bryce Rudisil. So ball 2 there for Marino. Good eye to watch it outside. This one does not find the zone from Whittier. 80 miles an hour to the left side. Gaithersburg happy that one was left alone by the ump. 3-1 for Marino. Whittier needed the put-away pitch. Got Marino to tag it. Was low. Could have potentially been called ball.
Marino likely thought that that was going to be the same as pitch 1. That was kind of on the inside corner, was in the zone, but that one stayed, or went middle low. Shouldn't say stayed, as pretty much all these pitches have movement.
There's a step off from Whittier. Someone in the Grays dugout was saying that McMullen should call time, but he elects to let Whittier fight this one out. Marino got a piece of the full count, sends it into the netting. Jamie Whittier looking to put away the first of 3 needed outs for the Grays to sweep the doubleheader. Giants hoping to split. They need 2 to tie. Swing and a miss there from Marino. But they're saying he foul-tipped. Wasn't handled by McMullen, so the at-bat stays going. Bit of luck there, David. And Marino gets his bat behind this one. Will it find the gap? It will. Owen's not there in time, so Marino finds himself on first base.
Sensational first bat for Aiden Marino to lead off this bottom of the 7th. Forces his way to a full count, able to stay alive just enough, and then deliver a nice single into left center field.
Brady Powell was in the broadcast booth earlier in this long day with us. An attempt to pick off on Marino from Whittier first.
That's the one thing that the Giants cannot afford is base running errors, as getting runners on has been one thing, but making sure they score has been entirely different.
Powell fights this one back towards his own dugout. Doesn't sneak in and play ping pong inside the home bench here like we saw a foul ball earlier. Hope Freddie Diaz is okay. Whittier lines up. He's got Powell 0-1. Powell's been an Iron Man and played both games. Watches that one to the outside of the zone.
The other thing, too, with Marino's at-bat, he practically gave everyone on the Giants a look at every single pitch Whittier has to offer and where the movement will lie. So adjustments can be made here for these Giants hitters.
Mentioned Rudisil had to adjust to get his first hit. He was a lefty. Now we saw Marino, the righty, get the hit. Powell in a bit of a hole in the 1-2. He's the tying run. Got his bat behind this one. It's going to hit the net. Go over the net before McMullen or any other Gray can try to make a play on it. 1-2, Brady Powell. He plays for the Giants. They're the furthest Cal Ripken League team from his house, but he makes the drive anyway. Gets his bat behind this one. It's grounded up to the second base. It passed it over, so Marino stays alive. Powell will remain on first. Never mind, he'll go now because it was mishandled in the outfield. And just like that, Aiden Marino will cross home plate. 2 errors made. Rivera in right field couldn't handle it. They had an opportunity to turn a double play, but instead Marino crosses home plate. The tying run is on second. The walk-off is at the plate. Brady Ruiz-Weiss.
So an error on the third baseman there, and then an error on the right fielder in Andy Rivera after he mishandled the overthrow. So that allowed the run to score.
Powell originally was going to hold up. Ruiz-Weiss bunts this one up the line. Will he make the run out? They say he's out. So there was no outs. Brady Ruiz-Weiss, the man we often see bunt, pulls it out there. Almost had the run out. Doesn't. Only one out, so one on the board now. That bunt did lead to the speedy Brady Powell getting to third. So the Giants are a potential pass ball away from tying up this game, and Danny Orr, a staple hitter for Gaithersburg, is up. Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Leads the team in at-bats. We saw him go yard a few nights ago.
Yeah, you mentioned going yard, but I think more importantly, Danny Orr has to understand the situation. Just a well-placed sac fly can tie this game.
Got a piece of that one now in the 0-2. There is one out. Orr would be the one for a sacrifice. If he gets out, they lose that chance. Tying run on third. Whittier sets now. Ready to deliver to Orr. Orr got a piece of it, sent it into the backstop. Continues to fight his at-bat alive. And David, what has been a long doubleheader, has come down to truly the end of the game.
Obviously, if you're a Giants fan, you want Danny Orr to do what he did a couple nights ago.
Swing and a miss there from Orr. He's retired by Whittier. So now the tying run, Powell will not be able to reach with a sacrifice. Bryce Rudisil is up to bat. He was the first man to get a hit off Whittier, hoping to repeat that here.
Last hope for Gaithersburg. It's got to be a safe base hit for Rudisil in order to extend this game.
He gets his bat behind this one. Will it reach the gap? Running under it is Quarry, and he makes the grab. That will end the game. The Gaithersburg Giants leave Powell the tying run out on base. Mark Quarry makes the grab. Just like that, the DC Grays get the 2-game sweep in the doubleheader over Gaithersburg. David, an unfortunate way for an exciting game to end.
Yeah, it was really a pitcher's battle to start. Phenomenal start by Gray Willis. We've seen him struggle a lot so far this season, but did a great job. And then Evan Sarantani came in and was able to keep this just a 2-run deficit. But the bats that were there in Game 1, not there in Game 2, and the pitching that wasn't there in necessarily the start of Game 1 is there in Game 2. So again, just the mismatch that we keep seeing from the Giants has led to a lot of issues and a doubleheader sweep. The DC Grays get both.
And that's going to be it. Dave and I have called 2 games for you, both won by the DC Grays. Gaithersburg back tomorrow. I'm Collin Smith alongside David Lewis. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's stream. Have a good night.